Are you the golfer that's trying to lengthen your swing? I hear so many people when they come for a lesson say, I want to swing it longer because I want to hit it further. But when I watch their swings, they're doing it a whole load of ways that are actually just killing their game. So today I'm going to show you what those ways are, the absolute no-goes, and then I'm going to show you the correct ways of lengthening your swing so you can hit the ball better, hit the ball further, and play better golf. Let's run through the main 3 swing killers that I see people do when they try and lengthen their swing. So the first one that I always see, and this is by far the most common one, is the arms are overfolding. Now here's the thing, when the trail arm overfolds, all it does is sets up a reaction. When it overfolds, is going to want to straighten very quickly in the downswing. As a result, you're going to scoop at it, throw the angles out early, hit it fat. Loads and loads and loads of different options can come as a result of this poor move. The other thing it does is it causes your left arm to bend, and it then allows the arms just to get completely out of sync with the body. So now from here, I've got to time everything back up on the way down, and that's just going to be so hard to control. The second swing killer that I see is when people cup their leader wrist at the top. So at the top, there is a lot of cup. You can see the toe is pointing straight down to the ground. If I put 2 hands on, again, that's going to cause me to get into a very, very long position. This massively opens the club face. You can see right there, that toe is pointing way down to the ground. And in this position, now I've got a way open club face. I've got to not only square it up, I've got to throw the angles back out to make sure I can get into a good impact position. And again, you can get so many reactions to this motion. So you can get throwing out, swinging over the top, scooping, flipping, whatever you want to call it, loads and loads of different stuff, early extension. Now the third one, and this is an absolute lower back killer. If you have back pain and you're trying to lengthen your swing and it started when you started lengthening your swing, it's probably because you're doing this. And this is where, as you swing to the top, your pelvis goes away from the target, your back goes towards the target, you get into this reverse pivot, and as a result, I mean, this just hurts my back doing it right here. You can see from here, I mean, how am I going to get down to the ball? I can either fire my hips this way, I can swing over the top. Again, it's going to be a car crash, but that is the third swing killer. So as we try and lengthen your swing out, we have got to understand that we've got to keep one relationship consistent and constant throughout the swing. And that is making sure our hands and arms stay synchronized to our body. We don't want to see anything like this as we've just described. We want to make sure that everything is working together in the backswing. That means, how do we lengthen our swing? Well, we have to lengthen our swing through adding rotation and extension and things like that. But today we are going to focus on rotation. Now, the first thing we are going to focus on, and this is key number 1, is it's all in the hips. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people, when they think of rotation, they think of the upper body. However, if I try and keep my hips dead still and I turn my upper body as much as I can only turn to about here. If I want to turn any more, I got to let my hips start to go. Now you can see, as soon as I let my hips go, the rotation becomes so much easier. So here's the thing, a lot of people, they get very frozen with their hips. It makes sense, you know, we're sat down a lot in modern day culture. This tightens up our hips, but if we can free those hips up, we can start to really increase our rotation. So if I do it quickly from the down the line view, you can see if I freeze those hips dead still, I can turn to about there. You can see the strain on my voice. If I want to get any more turn, I gotta let those hips go. And now you can see how actually I can turn all the way to here. I'm not a flexible guy by any means. I can turn all the way to here, and you can see I've got a nice full hip turn, a nice full shoulder turn, and it's relatively easy. There's no strain on my voice. So generating a 90-degree turn is not difficult for a lot of people. You know, I haven't found a player yet who can't get to 90-degree turn. Not saying you cannot. You know, there are injuries out there certain people have, but as long as you let those hips go, you are going to find it way easier to get a full turn. So let's give you a great drill that's going to help you with this hip turn. So as you can see here, I've got 2 alignment sticks, one through my belt loop and one at a 45-degree angle between my feet. Now I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to make sure you can get those hips nice and free and turning the full amount. Now the reason why it's at 45 degrees is it's just a good guide. You know, some players out on tour will get to 45 degrees, they'll go past it. Some players go short of it. So it's just sort of a good reference guide, a good training guide, just to make sure that we do get a full hip turn. Now, to start this off, to give you the correct sensations, what I want you to do is just stand nice and tall, feet in. I've got a 7-iron here, so 7-iron stance width, but stand straight up and down. From here, pull the club across your chest so it's touching your chest, and all I want you to do is just make a turn, standing straight up and down, and try and look behind you. As I do this, you can see I can get a really nice full turn. Now do this a couple times for me. Close your eyes if you have to, just to heighten your senses, and pay attention to how your right hip is moving. As I do this, I can feel like my right hip is sort of working in an arc, is working back and around in this direction. Now this is just going to free up your turn massively, and the turning to look behind me is just another way of just exaggerating this motion even more. Now, once you've done that a couple times and you feel like you've got the sensation, again, keeping the club up across your shoulders, so you can either have it here, you can put your hands across your chest, however you like. We're then just going to bend forwards into our golf posture, and now we're just trying to do the same sensation. Turn that right hip back and around, and at least try and get to the alignment stick on the ground, if not past it. And you can see here, as I do that, I can now start to achieve a nice full hip turn. Now, the reason why I say try and go past it if you can is because in a rehearsal swing, when we're not hitting a ball, our body's a lot more relaxed. We can always exaggerate things a little bit more. So if we train to go just past it, when we then add in the club and we add in forces and things like that, and our body gets a bit tighter, we will then sort of under-exaggerate it a little bit, and we'll either be back at the alignment stick or just a little bit short. Let me do it for you at this angle now. So if I go to here, I'm going to do the same thing. Hands across the chest, club up here on my chest, and I'm just going to turn, look behind me, standing straight tall, and you can see how much I can turn my hips. Again, do that a couple times for me, just learn what it feels like, get into your golf posture, and again, feel that right hip turn back and around, trying to get it into a really nice position right there. Now again, that's going to feel very new to you if this is something you're not used to, but this is going to be a great way of feeling the correct hip turn. Now, you can hit shots doing this drill. If we bring this back and I push this all the way through to where I've got the majority stuck outside of my left hip, I can hit shots doing this. So I can make some backswing rehearsals, just going, okay, feel that right hip turn back and around, try and get the alignment stick to go past the one on the ground. Once I've done that a couple times and I'm used to that sensation, again, I might put the ball on a tee, and as a result, you can see bigger hip turn means bigger shoulder turn means longer swing. So now I'm going to hit a shot, and I'm going to see if I can get this alignment stick past the one on the ground to give me a nice full hip turn and a longer golf swing. So as you can see there, I quite easily got past it, but by freeing up the hips, the shoulder turn, the chest rotation will take care of itself. As a result, that's going to lengthen your swing out and make life way easier for you. So the second way that we can boost our rotation, which is therefore going to allow us to lengthen out our swing, is by focusing on our right leg or our trail leg. Now, for a lot of golfers, I see this notion of trying to create this X factor where they're really resisting with the lower body here. They're not turning the hips a lot, but frankly, this is just going to put a lot of stress on the knee, and it's not going to allow your hips to turn. Now, I'm not saying I want you to unlock that, lock out that leg, get a really full hip turn. I'm not saying that, because that is going to cause more issues than not. But the key thing is that right leg, that trail leg, wants to stay passive. So as soon as we start to resist with that trail leg, it is going to put a lot of strain on our back, a lot of strain on our knee. It's going to limit our hip turn, and it's going to cause you to have to make some sort of compensation to lengthen your swing. So just feel like that right leg can stay passive and turn. So as your weight is moving in your feet, it's moving more into your trail heel and the ball of your lead foot, just allow that trail leg just to lose some flex. Like I said, I don't want you to lock it out. I just want you just to gradually feel that trail leg just start to lose some flex. Now, this is also going to free up how the right hip works. Again, as we know, if we free the hip rotation up, the shoulders are going to be able to turn more. If the shoulders can turn more, we can keep the club synchronized with our body, and then we can get it into a much better position at the top. Now, if we look at a lot of the top players in the world, we will see this. They will start with a certain amount of knee flex, and at the top of the backswing, they will have less knee flex in that trail leg. So if you are the player who is resisting so much with that trail leg, you need to stop it, because it is causing a lot of issues in your swing. The third tip that I have to help you lengthen out your swing by adding rotation and just freeing your body up is taken from the man himself, Jack Nicklaus, and that is just allowing that left foot, that left heel to come off the ground slightly. Now, I see a lot of people, they get to the top of the backswing and they feel a little bit frozen here. Maybe they don't have quite the flexibility in their knee, they have knee issues, anything like that, and they go, oh, I can't go any further because it's putting strain on my knee. Just by letting that lead heel come off the ground, you can see now I have allowed that knee to come in just a little bit more. That's just going to give you a little bit extra juice in terms of that hip turn, and then from there, that's going to give you more shoulder turn and a longer backswing. Now, like with anything, we can always overdo it. I don't want you to look like Happy Feet, the penguin, where you're coming all the way up onto that toe, because that's going to cause more issues than not in terms of trying to replant it, shift our weight back to the left side, and ultimately sequence our downswing. And frankly, if it's good enough for Jack Nicklaus, I think it's good enough for us. Just remember, it's all about rotation. If we want to lengthen our swing, we've got to increase rotation. We don't want to do it with the wrist, we don't want to do it with the arms, because that can lead to inconsistencies later down the line. If you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe.